It's Thursday, November 2nd. We're in a new month, and I'm trying to get back in the groove. That's kind of what today's show's about. Getting back in the groove. The groove is in the heart. Hey, everybody. You're watching 20 Minutes of Coffee with me, Ken Napzok. You might be watching live because you're a channel member. I think we have a couple in. You're most likely watching later. I raised my camera angle today because I really want people to see my coffee cup, my Team Zoc coffee cup. You can get that at the Stream Element shop, listed in the description. Peppermint coffee today. But also, I don't want you to see my face that close today. I really don't. Kingsport Cal is here today watching live in chat. Dave McKay is here. Baxter's barking in the hallway. I'm happy to be here today. We're going to take a look at the world, but as we do. But really, this is one of those days where I'm trying to plug back in. And I don't want to make that the entire theme of the show here, but I had Halloween off at a wedding to go to, at a wedding. And I want to make it clear, not our wedding. I made a mistake. I posted, we didn't have a ton of pictures. Grace and I are really bad at times at getting pictures at events. We keep telling ourselves to be better about that. And I'm going to try to open that up. I'm going to switch to the web here in a second. We're going to see the photo I posted. And you may have seen it. Some of you kind of still know who I am. Here it is. All right, there we go. We're going to switch that over. So there's my Instagram page, and it's the one, the photo up in the corner there. This sucker right here. Mark Riley took that photo, and we got home. It was this was at a great hotel off just off Sunset Boulevard. Now Sunset Boulevard on Halloween is a crazy place, and so I was a little worried about this wedding. Our friends Dan and Mara, and I was worried about it because you might just get stuck in West Hollywood, which there's worse places to get stuck. I don't mind West Hollywood at all, but I was worried about the wedding, and we didn't want to stay there. We had the Chihuahuas at home. Anyways, all that to say, none of that was a worry. None of that was a worry. It was a great time. Took us about 25 minutes to get there, which is crazy in LA. We got there, we had a lot of fun, and they had this wonderful view of downtown LA. That was kind of the altar, so to speak, behind those candles where they got married, and then I said, Mark, can you take a photo? Because we had taken a photo of Mark and Julie, so they took this photo, and then I got home and I wanted to post it, right? Because I was like, gosh, Grace and I never remember to take a lot of photos at social events to document our lives. So I took this photo, then I posted it here on Instagram. And you can see right away, congratulations from my buddy Jason Box, great comedian. Congratulations. Congrats, cousin, my cousin. Congrats. A lot of congrats coming in. And some people, Lydia, forcing a listener, whoa, did you all tie the knot? System Alliance, wait, is this for Dan and Mara's wedding, right? But the funny thing was on the YouTube side, because this also gets put on YouTube. Everyone across the board, because Facebook, I tell you, it's a weird slow morning for me. Everyone on the Facebook side was like, friends hadn't seen in 10 years. And so they were all like, what? Oh my God, you got married? Oh, congrats. Like, so I had to go put an addendum. I had to do an edit that says, hey, editors, no, this is for not our wedding. This is congrats, Dan and Mara. But that was my fault. My fault for putting that, photo up and not congratulating Dan and Mara. It was like 1 a.m. I blew my back out dancing. Kingsport Cal live in chat. I think you'd be proud of me. I absolutely blew my absolute back out dancing. That's how good the dancing was. Notice how the camera now has zoomed out on this shot. Oh my God, what a day. Now you get to see all the space right here. Oh, no, you're good. Okay. I owned that dance floor. People were pulling me on the dance floor to dance with me. And at one point, I felt that back go out. At one point, I was like, oh, this is going to hurt in the morning. I can't walk. I can't walk. I'm sitting on one of those. I'm sitting on one of these things. What are these things? These like chiropractic bowls. Said bowls. Oh man, it's but it was worth it. Fun wedding, fun time. I paid the price, and then we woke up bright and early Wednesday morning. By the way, I want to shout out the last subscription to my channel from the YouTube username. My mom paid for this. That's great. I just see that here on the event wall. That's amazing. You can become a channel member. Down below is the link and watch this live. You can watch me struggle through 20 minutes of a show because I'm in a lot of pain. Then we woke up early Wednesday morning and we went and got our fourth vaccines. So there you go. All the nano chips are inside me. And it didn't hit us too hard, but it hit just hard enough to where I absolutely punted yesterday. Didn't do anything yesterday. Took a nap, played some video games, but even that became too much for me to do. And we just watched ghost shows. We had like a delayed Halloween since we spent the Halloween at the wedding. It's Grace's favorite holiday. We sat down and watched a bunch of ghost shows yesterday. Oh man, but I struggling about that. So I was going to try to catch up with the world, and I don't know if you do that, where you just like you come back to the fold, so to speak, because I wasn't really on social the last couple of days. And you're like, what is going on? And you still have the horrors going on in the Middle East, which it's not that I don't want to wade into it, and I don't have thoughts and opinions on it. I think right now that's such a situation where we have to kind of pull back on how you're talking about it, in the sense of you don't have to choose a side. You don't have to do it. Do a tweet. No tweet for me is going to solve foreign affairs for our country in the Middle East. Nothing I tweet is going to solve anything there. Actions, who you vote for, those kind of things matter. And it's become this weird Rorschach test of how you react to just absolute horrors, which is up and down, back and forth. There's just so many horrible things coming out of the story there. So I'm not wading too much into it here, because I think it's okay just to every once in a while shut up. We talked about that, the sin of silence versus silently learning. I'm doing everything I can to read about the situation. Lauren Romo's here live, checking in live, along with Dave McKay and Kingsport Cal. So yeah, that's why. So I'm still, I'm pulled back a little bit distance on that. But man, this Mike Johnson fuck, I am just reading everything about it. This guy, this headline: Mike Johnson faces early struggles in leading the unleadable House GOP. That's a funny headline. I can't even. I don't even want to get it. I don't have the research notes in front of me to have a intelligent take or conversation on Mike Johnson this morning. I only have coffee, but everything that's emerged from this guy, everything that has emerged about his beliefs and statements are his to make. They're his beliefs to have, but to put them this front and center in front of our government, on display, and policy, budget stuff. I'm okay for those conversations, right? He feels, we shouldn't turn it back in Ukraine, but it should be separate from Israel. And a lot of people, including his own party, disagree with that. I don't have the hot, intelligent take on that this morning, but that's a philosophical and policy discussion, I think. But everything else about this fuck, and he's a fuck, is this isn't 20 minutes of notes. It's 20 minutes of coffee, says Dave McKay live in chat. I just can't, and I want to be careful to choose. There's a lot of things starting to come out, a lot of conversations around Mike Johnson, people calling him maybe a closeted gay man. That is something I don't want to joke about. That is something I don't want to guess. That is something I don't want to say with any sense of authority. That because that's a serious thing, right? And if you have not come out to your family or anything, and I'm talking about not him, but anyone else in the audience or anyone else listening, or you don't want to, or you don't feel you need to, there's a lot of reasons that you might want to keep that to yourself, and you have every right to. So I don't joke around with that too much, but he is starting to emerge as that what his wife was involved in with this onward Christian counseling thing that they're in their bylines of their website that they've since pulled down, is the notion that equates homosexuality or same-sex sex acts as on the same level as incest and bestiality, and it's one of those locations that it's not actual therapy. They try to play with the words, call it pastoral counseling, but that's not actual therapy. Pastoral counseling isn't a bad thing necessarily on its own. I want to be clear about that. But that's his wife. She pulled that stuff down. He and his wife had a podcast. They pulled all that stuff down. And my where I'm at right now with that stuff, I was watching, as I often do, people like Bo with the Fifth Column or Sam Sater show. Occasionally I'll check out David Pacman. I'll say there as well. But the idea that if you have to scrub all this stuff, your shows, your statements, your beliefs, there's a level of it that is, I understand. I had a friend who was up for hosting a cable show, and during the process of going through the audition process and meetings and development meetings and everything to become the host of this show, he decided it was probably in his best interest to go and cut out some of the things he'd said, some of the shows he'd done that weren't bad. I was on one of them. It was a great interview, but we pulled it just because, you don't know who's going to react. I just had a friend this week got into some trouble on Instagram. She did not deserve the trouble on Instagram. She posted some photos. Her enemies, her haters, didn't like the photos, so they reported her. She's now having problems with Instagram. Scrubbing stuff isn't necessarily bad, but if you have to scrub stuff based on the notion that your beliefs are must be hidden like this, then you don't have the beliefs that we want around the government here. It's and I'm not saying that in the most intelligent way, because as David McKay says, it's 20 minutes of coffee, not 20 minutes of notes. But just looking at this absolute fuck. Look at that face. You're right. I think he rose to power so fast. I think Mike Johnson rose to power so fast that they couldn't anticipate all this stuff and a lot of things he's said. But as I was starting to say, to get into it, and I don't want to spend the whole show on Mike Johnson. As Lauren Romo says live in chat, because she's a channel member, he's not great, to put it mildly. Yeah, he's not great. This whole thing of him adopting, quote unquote, adopting a kid when he was 10 years older than the young kid, and says, "Oh, we were married. Oh no, weren't married. Well, I didn't adopt him. I just mentored him. He just lived with us." That's kind of spawned this kind of salacious kind of rumor mill around Mike and his sexuality. The problem I have is it's starting to mount up that he is becoming one of those, we must burn homosexuals in the pits of Hades. We must wipe them from this earth, make everything about them illegal and criminal, because I'm that and I can't comprehend it, and I can't become who I am, and I am not allowed to, and I don't allow myself to do that. So the fire of shame is burning so hot in me that I must burn everything else down. That's where it's going, and it's and that plays out a lot, and it plays out true. So we'll see. We'll see about that. All right. The other Republican dumb fuck I wanted to talk about is this Tommy. I don't know. Thank you. Don't summarize it. It's Tommy Tuberville, who now is being grilled. Look at this guy. He's a football coach. Now I have a giant problem. If I played for you, if I played football or baseball or some other sport that I failed at, if I played for you and I run into you, say maybe after I graduate high school, I run into you at a coffee shop and I see you, I'll say, "Coach." I had my PE coach in junior high was Coach Ehrlich, Barry Ehrlich, who he was the uncle of Ehrlich, what's is it Brent Ehrlich over at like Young Turks and all that stuff back in the day, and Nerd Alerts. And we talked about that at Screen Junkies. Small world. But if I ran into Coach Ehrlich, I wouldn't call him Mr. Ehrlich. I wouldn't call him Barry. I'd say, "Hey, Coach, it's Ken. Remember Kenny?" I have no problem with that. But this guy, Senator Tommy Tuberville, he's one of those "you must call me Coach" kind of a-holes. As if, like, football coach at some NCAA Division I school is a knighted position, given all the authorities there within. And I think he's kind of carrying that dumb attitude over to what he's doing with these, holding up these military promotions. They went through, you guys heard us tell the story of forcing this vote, 61 nominations to promote military officers and officials into positions, permanent positions that we need. Out of, 115 delayed nominations? They went through individually, and good old Coach Tuberville, you want to run the I formation, I'm your guy. He held up every single nomination individually. They forced him to do this. His GOP colleagues forced him to do this. And he had to sit up there looking like an idiot, objecting because of his moral stance on the military. What is it? It's been so long, I forget the exact issue. The military may be funding abortion. Sign up for the What Matters Now newsletter? No, I'm good, thank you. I just go to CNN because it's easy to type. I go to a lot of news sources. CNN's not the only one, so I don't want to sign up for anything. But you know, he's doing this big moral take, this right to life take. Again, his opinion to have, and his job might be, promoting those kind of policies within the government. I don't agree with them at all. That's what he wants to do. That's what he wants to do. But he's holding up these nominees, has been for so long. And now you have Senator Dan Sullivan, Republican. Joni Ernst of Iowa, Republican. Lindsey Graham, speaking of that thing we're talking about with Mike Johnson, of South Carolina. Todd Young of Indiana. And good old Mitt Romney. All starting to tell this guy where to stuff it. And with all the things going on in the world, there's so many serious things going on in the world. Things that we need a working, functioning military on. And you have people, it's not a partisan issue now. It's a bipartisan problem with good old Coach Tuberville of Alabama. I bet there's good people in Alabama, man. There's good people out. There's good people in every state. I don't write off entire states because of their elected officials. You don't know what gerrymandered elections they've won. You don't know. But Coach Tuberville is not doing the Lord's work right now for the great people of Alabama. And that's on my mind. And I think I'm back in. Brian Tiller's watching live. So now in the minutes we have left, and the time we have left together here on 20 minutes of coffee, I feel plugged back into the world. I do have to plug back into Ukraine and Russia. It's not like a sport. I'm not excited to plug back into this. But with all the stuff going on with Trump's trial, I saw Bill Kristol tweet out this morning, Trump is being defeated, Putin is retreating, and I was like, I didn't know he was retreating. So I want to dig back into that. So is that what you all have those days where you disconnect from everything, which is okay, it's healthy, and now it's all on my table in front of me. What part of the world do I want to be mad at now? I don't know. King Sport Cal says the game. You want to talk about the World Series? I actually watched a lot of the World Series. I treated myself to YouTube TV. And I did that because I'm back watching football regularly now. And I want to watch the World Series. And sports are always tied to live television. That's been the biggest problem, I think, with streaming, especially in the early days when streaming was emerging. Even like the WWE Network, which was priced to go at $9.99. I was one of the first people on the first day to sign up for the WWE Network, and I loved it. I actually miss it. I know it's on Paramount or something like now, but you couldn't watch Raw or SmackDown Live. This is back when I was watching Raw or SmackDown Live. King Sportcast says, I meant your confusing guessing game. Well, I'm going to talk about the World Series in sports now. Callie, got to be specific. I'm halfway through this cup of coffee. This coffee? We can call it a coffee. I just created a word. When you're halfway through your cup of coffee, it's a coffee. Anyways, all that to say, I miss watching live sports. Yes, you can. I have Amazon Prime. I don't have Peacock Network. I don't have CBS Plus or ABC Minus. I don't have any of this stuff. So I treated myself. I swiped a credit card. Don't be careful how much you swipe those credit cards, kids. I swiped a credit card. I got YouTube TV, And I'm enjoying it. I watch some football. I watch the World Series. And there's this complaint, this concern that the World Series is the lowest rated World Series in years. And yeah, Texas Rangers, Arizona Diamondbacks, not exactly marquee teams. It's not the Phillies, the Yankees. It's not the Dodgers, Yankees. It's not the Astros, who everyone wants to root against. But I was also saw this story this week. And because I'm releasing music here with Brian Tiller and Sean Arnold, our first song is out. Let me, you know what? I can just do this on YouTube. There you go. YouTube. You know what I'm saying. There you go. There it is. Coming soon, the Moonagers. Tomorrow. Some of you have pre-ordered this. Kingsport Cow says, I swiped a debit card for DoorDash Subway sandwich earlier. I love that, Kingsport Cow. This is why you and I are connected. About the ratings and people turning the ratings of the World Series into a giant think piece. We're fractured. We're different. It's like social media. We are all around. I can't get the word out. This Moonagers single comes out tomorrow. It's a great song. Tell me. I can't get people to click on the link. I can't get people to head over to themoonagers.bandcamp.com to pre-order it or get it tomorrow. Social media is fractured. How we watch sports and how we watch TV is fractured. And we're still basing so much on the old standards. This is what the strike is about. One of the many reasons, I think. It's about the changing times and how so many of these companies don't change with the times. Is the World Series the lowest rated in years? Yeah. Where can you watch the World Series? You don't just turn on TV like we all used to and turn to Fox or turn to TBS or turn to NBC and watch the World Series. You have to find it on a service. You have to pay for that service. So the story that came out last week that absolutely just put this all on a kind of a stage with the spotlight on it. The Rolling Stones have their new album out. The Rolling fucking Stones have their new album out. And I think it hit number 1 or something like that. It hit number 1. And LQ backs me up here. Live TV fragmentation is real, coming from someone who's done audience research. Yeah, thank you, LQ. Channel member, LQ. The Rolling Stones released this new album, which features my favorite Lady Gaga, Stevie Wonder's on it, others on it. It hit number 1 with 72,000 copies sold. 72,000. There used to be a time in the music industry where new releases like this would hit millions of sales in the first week. And multiple bands, multiple albums. Why is this different? Of course, we know why. I can't go to Circuit City. I can't go to Best Buy. I can't go to Amoeba Records. I can't go to Amoeba Records, but you know what I mean. The buying of the albums is done. This is the world we live in now. So now, to make it, you got to get 5 million streams on Spotify, and Spotify's going to pay you $1.45 for it because they have all the power. Apple Music pays a little better, but they have all the power. I have no problem. I use these streaming services. I don't have a place to play. I can't go buy the Rolling Stones album on compact disc because I can't play it in my car. I can't even put it into my computer anymore unless I buy some Apple plug-in thing. Everything has changed, which is fine. I'm glad I don't have a giant shelf with 80,000 CDs like I used to have. They're all in storage. But no one gets to hear anymore, and art will die. Art will die. We will not be able to make livings with art. And it's all now the algorithm game, which is fine in its own right. I'm going to start posting stand-up comedy clips on TikTok and Instagram. I'm editing some footage I have. I've always not wanted to do it because it's not what I use Instagram for. I'm not on TikTok. I am on TikTok, but I'm not on it all the time. But I just realized if I want to be a comic, that's the game. So if Rolling Stones want to sell albums, that's the game. Can you imagine Keith handing a cell phone to Keith Richards and saying, Keith, it's 12:01 a.m. You got to post a clip of your song. Yeah, man. Just go off as you play the theater, man. You can't get the Rolling Stones. Luckily, I think they have some social media folks around them. They'll be all right. Mick and Keith are going to be all right. Steve Jordan on drums now. He's great. Kingsport Cal says, do it, Ken. I don't do TikTok, but I think we'll help you. Kingsport Cal also says, my daughter tells me cassettes are coming back in a vinyl way. But I can't play. I don't have anything to play cassettes. 72,000 records sold for the Rolling Stones. And that puts them at number one. Good for them, by the way. Good for them. All right. We are almost out of here. 20 minutes of notes has turned into 20 minutes of Koofy. Dave M. K says, I see stand-up clips on Instagram. Yeah, no, everyone puts their clips on there. I've not wanted to. I don't want to speak for Mark Ellis, but I know for a long time Mark Ellis did not want to. A lot of reasons you see crowd work clips, which I don't do crowd work, is comics don't want to blow their load, so to speak, of sharing their material. That's their actual material that might be in their album or something one day. That's why it's not on there. Kingsport Cal's going to send me a cassette player. I had one in the car that I lost in an accident in June. I had a CD player and a cassette deck in the car, in the Mustang, because it's 2002. But I don't anymore. I have a fancy 2018 car. Woo! It's all plug-ins, which, again, I don't mind. But some of that has to trickle down to the artist, because otherwise, the artist, much like the situation I'm in, we ain't going to survive. In a world without art, oh, that's not good. That leaves us with a bunch of Coach Tubervilles telling us what to do. See you, everybody. Bye. We'll do this again. Probably the only show live this week because I got some stuff going on. We'll be back next week. A couple episodes. Tony Man's Coffee. Also, if you follow my game streams, I will be doing the Super Bowl soon. I've held off. I reached Super Bowl Madden. We're going to do that soon. New music tomorrow for the Moonagers. Moonagers, themoonagers.bandcamp.com.